Can I have my YouTube now? Thank you. Well, it wasn't even showing her. My YouTube is quick.
Don't believe any of that. Some people don't.
Volume
but
up.
In actuality,
well,
we place into ourselves the energy.
Okay, just a minute, everyone. I want to get this to the beginning, but this is
any efforts.
A problem. Let's just put it that way. I want to say back. Okay, here we go. Back to the beginning.
I ended up getting my YouTube payment today.
Well, good for you. I get to starve until the 1st.
Late.
Bitch.
And just this. I've been having some difficulties with this.
Yes,
I really don't want to break it.
Hello, I'll get chat up to you in just a second.
There we go. It's a little bit better. Okay, so my current circumstances. We all know. I went to private school.
Hello, Pete.
I didn't quite have the best, interaction with one, so I always stayed away. I was very avoidant, always try not to be a burden, because when I would try to tell people about what was going on, like say at home, about...
Now, we have a contradiction here. Now, you would say, Roger, what is this contradiction? Now, she talks about how insular she is, but remember, she tells us that she was voted Miss Outgoing, which is the name of her Instagram. So how can you be an innie and an outie at the same time? Just saying.
Any of the trauma or the abuse, nobody really wanted to hear any of that. And they were like, well, Leticia, no, that's not normal. That's exactly what they would tell me when I would disclose the stuff that was happening. And inevitably, I just got to the point where I just kept my mouth shut about everything. And I realized then thereafter that damned me, because keeping my mouth shut only hurt me. I had sustained a lot of abuse.
So she thought, you know what? I'm sitting here hurting myself with my own words, so why don't I hurt others with him? I mean, the Leticia way.
Hello, everybody. I sustained a lot of abuse. Weird abuse, too. It wasn't...
Crazy Cakes went live, and I've not been of the mental capacity to make formal videos, but I can always do a live reaction, and I'm doing this just to kind of keep the channel together. And oh yes, by the way, I love you, little kitty. Okay, you didn't block anyone. Richella just hit you guys and was trying to block Nicolina. Now, Nicolina, there is a Boit program called Coachisms, and every week we have wrestling, and it's considered neutral ground for Boit. Now, Coachisms came into my chat yesterday, and I was going to discuss what I discussed with him, what I was going to in private in front of everyone, and I believe you are on the slate now to get a Boit wrestler, because you also have two people that don't like you that have Boit wrestlers. One of them is Milton, and now Milton is in the women's division, and the other is Savage. So what he does is he puts people on a list, he creates the wrestlers, and when he creates your wrestler, you'll start having matches likely with Savage or Milton now and again. And last night, on Saturday night, I had to be there at Boit Wrestling, and I was in the men's battle royal, and I won the men's battle royal, so that was kind of nice. But yeah, well, see, Milton used to be in the men's one. When Milton was in the men's division, I used to wrestle Milton. But, I also, I joked around, and I did tell him that you had been a dominatrix. So expect a really, really racy avatar. Just saying. He tries to get some of the people's look down to the character that they can, and then make them more flattering. So, he will peek in on you, and he will get down your facial features somewhat, and then he'll improve on them on the avatar. You know, I'm like 5 times as buff as I really am in the game. Ugh, accidentally talked too long and the phone shut Leticia off. But yeah, I wanted to... I'm getting attacked. I love you too, Richella. Let me get Crazy Cakes back up.
Normal. And that's why I convert back to my childishness to try to, from the additional abuse and trauma that's going on in this day and age.
Well, last night was the grift for the hotel room. I'm not sure what her angle will be today, but her thing is absent fathers in affordable futures. And that told me that she was going to have one of these streams where she talks at us like we're 2 years old, and that's why I put the title Leticia Lectures.
I know that everything can be traced back to childhood as well as in utero. You know, people don't believe any of that. Some people don't. But in actuality, what we place into ourselves, the energy, the additives, the nutrition, the education, any efforts. People tell me I don't place effort into things. I place plenty of effort into things, and when I do, I excel. But why would I want to excel when I am not getting any rewards from it? I didn't think that I needed much for a reward, because when I was a child, you know, those little gold stickers and everything, that's what I worked for, is the praise of the teacher. And because I didn't get very much praise when I would give my parents, my straight A's, you know, they didn't care. I was a girl. And they wanted their boys to succeed because they knew the harshness of this reality, which is boys are the ones that rule everything. And although everyone said in the 90s growing up, you know, you're a girl and you matter and you bring the babies, and like, you know, maybe one day you'll have babies, but like, I never wanted to just be some crazy fucking housewife like my mom. Like, I'm just gonna be straight up honest. I love my mom. I do, still, even to this day. I can't help it. She's fucking insane, and I love her. And, like, and yes, lately I do bitch at her and cuss her out, but I feel like she deserves it at this point. Like, she wasn't listening when I was a kid, so she might as well get that energy back at her. Like, here's all my teenage angst, only like tenfold, because we didn't solve this when, you know, when we were young, so here's the cycle.
But she sits on this on every chance she gets.
Return that energy back and forth, and it doesn't ever solve itself, because, and then the future generations are the ones that suffer, because that's how the mind is. That's how the world works. That's how chemistry works. That's how the physiological effects, as well as the psychological, that determine our success in this day and age. So I understood that I had these disorders, like borderline personality, where I just sort of give up. I just don't give a shit. Why would I care?
No, borderline personality does not cause apathy. That's a part of depression.
If anybody wants me to see me alive, then they'll help me, because at this point I've detached. And I understand people that have had issues with falling into bad habits because of these things. And I chose not to do it that harshly. My bad habits are sugar. Like, I have a bad habit of eating a shit ton of sugar. And, like, I got myself some cake right now.
Not the doing mushrooms, not the chain smoking weed pregnant. The sugar is her admitted bad habit. Now, I am a big believer in irony as humor. So this, to me, is extraordinarily amusing.
Because it was on sale, and it was vegan. And I thought, $3 for this slice of cake? Well, I shouldn't be eating that much sugar.
You know, once again, I calculated it, and every time I stream, we take 1/2 a penny off of her views. I know, petty, but that is the actual result. But it just makes us feel good.
Anyway, so I might as well splurge on the more expensive stuff, and then I eat less. And it's true. I consume a lot less of it. I'm just pregnant right now and just consuming everything. And that's
But
why
at
I make
least you
videos,
guys get a
which I'll be
chat that you
posting
can
one of
talk in and
myself
talk
eating
to
another
each other about
scramble
what you
with,
actually feel about
vegan, or
this.
the
This is
toast.
really the big benefit.
So, yeah,
is you
I'm
guys are
trying to
not
do my
censored
best, and
while
I'm
you're
trying
having to listen to this
persuade
bullshit.
others into doing their best as well. And also, please don't fuck with me. Like, I'm literally about to give birth. Like, I don't want.
Now, because I have to stop and give commentary, I just say bullshit. Because when she lectures, I mean, there's not really an extraordinary much to rebut because what's coming out of her mouth is magical horse shit. Now, when the magical horse shit I think is amusing or informative, you know, I'll stop for a moment. But other than that, you're just going to see me this one sit here and nod a lot.
Get fucked with, but instead I get woken up this morning by
Hello,
a bunch of
tattoos
random
and
messages
unicorns.
talking about this nonsense about how I'm a terrible mother because I don't want to keep the baby, and I'm like, mind your
Hello,
own.
Mandy.
Mind your own. I would love to keep the baby. In my fucking crazy dreams, because I'm a crazy person, I wish I would have gotten to know the father. I wish I would have had a relationship.
Now, Miss Nicolina, you are an extremely intelligent woman, and I admire that. But remember this, doesn't she lecture God? I mean, talk about, you know, when you say hubris, I mean, there is no more hubris than saying, I can lecture everyone else, and I can lecture God, because he is supposed to be my personal sugar daddy.
With him, and that's just it. It's just because he is chemically, like, he is genetically the father of this child, and I do not think it was the first dude. It just doesn't line up with the time frame.
Well,
and
fortunately
also,
for me, I had just got all my morning chores done.
I just don't
and
understand.
sat
And
down
she started
to smoke
talking about
one,
how I was a whore,
and she went live.
and I was like, bitch, you don't even know what a fucking whore is. Like, I've had sex with 3 different dudes in one day, and none of them, like, cared. None of them fucking cared. They all knew.
Why? Because she had sex with 3 dudes in one day. I mean, I knew some girls that had sex with 3 dudes in one day, and I definitely did not take them seriously. I definitely did not want to talk to them. You know, sloppy fourths did not sound entertaining. Let's just put it that way.
I was honest, I was open, I was being a slut. This is like after my divorce, I lost fucking track of everything and just was like blindsided on all these pharmaceuticals, didn't know how to regulate.
Well, a narcissistic psychopath tries to put themselves in positions of power. It's like, it would be just like dealing with Ernie. It's just, she wouldn't have the hots for you. Just put it that way. I mean, that would be her. It would go down to the typical female competitions. You know, and of course, you grew up as a teenage girl, and I do not have to tell you what those are.
Myself anymore, and everybody's like, no, these lithium tablets and Xanax, that'll help you. Bitch, no, it didn't. Made it 10 times worse. And then she starts talking about how you need to get off the weed. Bitch, no, leave me alone. Like, please just leave me alone. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't. I'm just completely avoidant. Completely avoidant. I know what my disorders are. I confront them. I rationalize them. That's why I go around not fucking.
You notice that she says she rationalizes them. She doesn't confront them, face them, work through them, and move on. You know, that's the point of therapy and healing. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to face the dragon, work through the dragon, and move on with our life. No, she admits she rationalizes these things.
With anybody.
And she rationalizes them to make them useful
fine today.
to her.
I, showered up a little bit, rinsed off, because I showered yesterday, so, my hair's up, and I'm in this big moo-moo, dress again, and that's nice, because then I don't like everything that's tight-fitting. Oh my God, I was so happy like a year ago about how my body was looking, 9 months ago especially, and like, what happened? I knew I was losing a lot of weight.
Me too.
But what happened? I am completely confused. This person keeps saying, And they must be the same people, I don't know, or the same group of people that are harassing me from different numbers and all that stuff. It keeps...
Well, in reality, a schizophrenic can live in Never Never Land. Now, I do believe she has schizophrenia. Now, the rest of it, a lot of it I think is just an act. And once again, where we have a drastia that adopts people's stories. Leticia's not beyond adopting a thing or two if it is to her benefit. You know, like when I did the puppies things and I told you when they put me on Xanax, it made me fucking psychotic. You know, and I ran around that way for a number of years. And then when they took me off of it, 3 weeks later, I was the person I was before they put me on the drug. You know, no psychotic anywhere. And she heard that, and that's when she started spouting Xanax. So remember also, once again, she will adopt other people's stories. And that's what I think it is with the mental disorders. And sometimes I think she plays pretend. Now that is a little out on the limb, but the rest of it I can say in my full belief, prove to me and where I could show you. Now, the acting part, I will say out there right now that could be out on the limb commentary.
Saying that I was... Maybe subconsciously, I wanted very badly to just be with someone.
Okay, Selma, come on.
Maybe Jason had that for a moment too, and that's what created this baby. But I knew, and she's kept talking shit about how if I wouldn't have talked crazy to him, maybe we would have still been in a relationship. How am I not gonna talk crazy to him when he physically touched me in the middle of the night? Like, I'm not okay with that. I mean, and then she was like, well, that wasn't...
Now, I was like her 220th subscriber. When she was in her middle of her cuddling sessions, that's when I first subscribed to her. Now, going back through her history, she has said in another video that she kept claiming that her husband was slipping her the schlong while she was sleeping. And this, in reality, could actually be a schizophrenic delusion. You know, stemming from something that happened earlier in her life that we're not going to talk about because this is a generally G-rated live.
You know, it wasn't rape. And I'm like, well, in my mind, it felt like I was still asleep.
We got Summer here,
I got
and
very
we still
scared.
got this in my lap.
Pretended to be slightly asleep,
All right,
and then
this.
actually did doze off a bit.
This cello.
So I wasn't really fully awake. And then I realized then it was already in. It's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do. I mean, just because I didn't roll over and smack him off me and say no, because I didn't want to get hit. This guy was touching me in the middle of the night. These kind of crazy people, unless they've got like a sensible...
Now, the only commentary I'm going to give here is, you notice the story evolved. I mean, how many months have we heard a story, but you know, now all of a sudden it's sounding like he was the horrid aggressor. And yesterday we know that she says that when she spoons, she does things to arouse men. Now, I called her out on that. She does watch everything that is done here. So, notice now today, he was a masher, you know, in 1950s terms.
And she said, like, well, why did you want a relationship? And I was like, I just wanted to see what he would say. It's not that I was seeking it. It was just more like, why would somebody do that? Why would anybody do that? Why would you confuse me like that? So she said, well, so if you would have wanted a relationship, you wouldn't have called rape? And then I said, well, yeah, because then he wanted to be with that person. Like, some men are just stupid. They're animalistic. They're barbaric in that way. They're just very...
Now, when she means stupid, it's because Jason Wallace didn't do what she wanted. Because yesterday I told you the actual story. We feel we are on chapter 1. We are wrong. The first husband was chapter 1. She got pregnant. She hooked him. She got the house. She got the family. She fucked that all up. That was really chapter 1. This is her repeated attempt to man-trap a life. And that's what she's going to do. You know, when she pops out this baby, you know, it's right back on the horse. And I'm going to put up a community tab the day the baby's born and ask, how long until she hooks up with the first dude? You know, I'm going 5 days. It's creepy as hell, but I'm going with what I feel with Leticia.
Unevolved. And they can't contain themselves. And I can understand that if it's a certain degree of arousal, that if they want to make right by the lady, then they'll do it. But he wasn't, and he was avoidant of it. That's all it was.
Well, actually, Katie, I think that 65 to 70% chance, yes. Now, once again, some of this is going to depend on their social worker. Now, around here, they like to ignore their jobs. Now, if she's gone to a place to where, you know, just randomly to where they ignore their jobs, there's a chance she could walk out with that baby. And I'm not sure what my commentary would be, but I'm sure for a while it would sound cartoonish as I'm trying to form words that aren't just angry slur things.
So don't try to tell me and fool me into thinking that he just wanted me, and then all of a sudden he just stopped talking to me.
Well, to let new people in chat know, around here used to be gravel roads. And long time ago, my aunt by marriage was giving birth on a hill, on a farm, where there could be no getting to a hospital. Well, my mother was the only person there, and they had to do it the old-fashioned way. And my mother had to play catcher, and it was for my cousin Teresa. And no one liked Teresa, and she was kind of Leticia, you know, in all honest. You know, she's one of these girls that, you know, would try to hook up with men, and that was her whole life, and she was dumb as fucking dirt. But the whole point is I know from my mother's story that she is going to want that hospital. She's going to call for help as soon as those contractions get too bad. Now, she lied the other day and said, I did my first birth natural. Bullshit. Because once again, I remember in her other birth story, and she said, I had an epidural.
And when I told him about the baby, I waited a week for a response. That's not okay. That is...
Actually, Mandy, I have a good idea, but we're not going to reveal it because once again, she watches everything. Actually, put it this way, not a close location, put it that way. But I have a general idea, but unfortunately, I would not at this point be able to contact a certain jurisdiction. You know, the one needed. You know, I would have it down to maybe 20, 25 jurisdictions.
Not okay. We have to immediately drop everything we're fucking doing and just be like, oh, yep, there's a baby inside of me. Hold on. I can't eat sushi. The fuck with you.
But yeah, hell, that's my thought.
I can't eat sushi, bitch. So, yeah, and I understand.
And
like,
if she
I
doesn't,
understand that there's
she's going to get her karma.
regulations, and people were pissed off that I was smoking weed. So she's trying to tell me that, or, yeah, it must be a she. Because quit pissing me off, bitch. And I told her, I was like, you filthy cunt. And she said something about, like, I know I've been a whore before. And I was like, well, I wasn't seeking to be a whore at that time. I may have had sex with 4 people in December, the month of December. Yes. I was hoeing around. It was after December 2nd, that incident, that made me realize, I was like, oh my God, I am not okay. I am not.
Now she admits she was whoring around. I mean... Now, you see, this is a mania. Now, a part of, like I say, I really do believe she has schizophrenia. It can come out in many ways. And you hear this long rambling about stuff with absolutely no point. You know, the point started with proving that she's better than us. And now at this point, it's just she's doing accidental reveal after accidental reveal because she's in a manic state. And many times in a manic state, an internal filter will start to turn off, or things, shall we say, the filter gets wide enough where things will slip through that she wouldn't want.
not okay. I'm going to seek comfort in the arms of all the men I can fucking find, because that happens sometimes. And we all know, we're all human, that we revert back to our bad habits when we're in that moment of weakness. So, yeah.
Now, Katie, for some reason, YouTube will not let me show your comment. Every time I hit your comment to say show, it says error. And I have never encountered this before on YouTube. There. It let that one, but that first comment, YouTube just kept saying error. So, to my creator friends, just to let you know that that is out there. We've discovered something new.
I don't understand why I'm still getting
okay, Katie.
for something.
That explains it.
I know everybody knows I'm innocent in that way. Like innocent in the way that, like, I did really not want to.
That's no problem, Katie.
I didn't want to continue on and add to my number when, I know how proud men are of how high their number is. When a woman does it, it makes her feel...
No, actually, as a man, I tried to sleep around minimally because really I was always looking for Miss Right. Now, at 54, and after the last two, I've given up on my lifelong goal to have a wife and settle down. It is what it is, but I've been trying it since 18 years old, and I'm 54 now, and then the last two have left me traumatized enough to where I really don't think I could trust being in a relationship. I really don't.
Terrible, because that's all of this nasty, like, penises are gross. They're very filthy. They're very filthy. You put your hands on it all day, then you don't wash your hands. What were you touching prior?
Okay, now, for the record, I mean, the amount of hands times that my hand is on my dick tends to be while I'm peeing outside. Or washing it. I mean, and when I pee outside like that, you like pinch it with a couple fingers and kind of hold it out. So the actual physical contact with the organ is minimal. So once again, she's having some sort of penis fantasies or some sort of penis envy. I'm not quite sure.
You were walking around touching the gas pumps, touching everything else, and then you just straight up touch your penis. So imagine all that bacteria that we're picking up from touching.
Well, in reality, after you pass 40, it's not really that important anymore. That's where it's like all the stuff. It's like when I was watching Tessie. You're masturbating to a 19... No, I'm not. I never once masturbated to Playmate Tessie. Like I said, I'm past the point that actually matters to me. And I have slightly low testosterone. Not enough to take anything, but just slightly.
Handles for touching all of these, equipment,
yes, Katie. I mean,
mechanical stuff.
That's a home run for you.
And you
boom, Katie knocks it out of the park.
Inside of my vagina because you.
Matter of fact, that's a grand slam because there was 4 of them.
Have a little fucking respect. But no, you don't understand that, and then you complain that we've got an infection. Oh, I'm sorry, where did we get that infection? I don't go around sticking my fingers in there. I don't go around touching it at all. I leave it alone because that's disgusting to me. Like, I don't even...
Okay. Humorous debug. Now, we remembered when she talked about, or when she potted, that she sticks your finger in her butt? Okay, now she's saying, the place that I occasionally stick my face, is icky now, and she don't want to stick her finger there, but she'll stick her finger straight up her ass every time she takes a shit and get shit finger and rub on people. Just saying. And for you girls out there, I mean, you put that light girls, you put your face there too, and we have absolutely no problem with it.
I don't understand why blood comes out of it every month. Like, I still don't get it. I still am freaked the fuck out. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And to not have my period for the last 9 months.
But yes, this is mania. because you see, I have borderline, but I don't run around the world being a deceptive asshole. You know, I'm not a severe manipulator, but there is an upside to borderline, and that is a part of what you like in me. You know, there's a negative and a positive with it. Now, on my psychological functions like depression and borderline, my dark sides are muted. They don't work like everyone else's does. That's why I was listed as psychologically unique. Because, like I said, my conditions do not affect me like they do everyone else.
I kept thinking to myself, maybe it'll just show up. Maybe maybe this isn't real. Maybe this isn't really a baby. Maybe this cannot be real. Like, there's no way.
This is her schizophrenia trying to wish it away. Now, Cruiser McHenry and I are YouTube friends. We have fought before. And now you see, the thing is with my borderline, I don't go around acting like a normal borderline. But if I really want to, I can get in your head. You know, if I really, but see, I don't like that. You know, it makes me not like myself. But if I want to be a dick, I can get over that. And I can get in someone's head. And Cruiser was having to live in an attic that had just like stuffed heads all around. And I made the joke of his girlfriends, meaning the stuffed animals, talking to him. And those animals' heads are gone from that room now, just saying. Because I know that, you know, I triggered him. And in hindsight, that was wrong. You know, sometimes when we go over a line with our assery, you know, we realize later on when we reflect on it that, you know, I kind of did go over the line. So, you know, I don't play with this schizophrenia anymore. You know, once again, I did kind of cross the line. He did say some asshole things to me, and that was my trump card back. And in reality, it worked really good. I won, but the thing is, it was just a little bit too hard, and I shouldn't have been that big of a dick. Because you see, that putting it in his head, you know, it started feeding. It started rolling over again and again and again and again. As I said, I had other schizophrenic friends, and I talked to them. So I knew this would roll over in her head. This is what Leticia is doing here. She's starting to roll over things in her head, trying to make the baby not real. And see, now I can show my bad behavior and Leticia's bad behavior and explain to you it's bad behavior.
I already have to be traumatized for fucking 4 to 5 days every fucking month and just God gushing out fucking uterus. Why? And then people wonder, they're like, why are bitches crazy? Because, god damn it, it's everywhere. I can't stop it. Just thinking about giving birth, this is gonna freak me the fuck out. This is gonna be horrible. Like, fucking horrendous. And then by myself,
well, we're
and then
15
like,
minutes behind
Leticia. They
Leticia.
won't steal your baby. And then she was also saying, you're never gonna get paid from YouTube again. Well, I got paid. Apparently, you're fucking in denial. So if I go to the hospital, they're gonna take my baby immediately, and then I'm not gonna get the moment to fucking relax with him and just say my goodbyes. That's insane. People are crazy, and they're so mean. They're so cruel. And then it's just like, and then we just have to swallow it and go on with our business. So I've realized now not to have any emotion toward anything.
Okay. Now, you see, in chat, you have you're wondering something. Now, once again, Roger can tell you. You see, Cruiser McHenry likes negative attention. MFW is in bed with RSN, so RSN can get a view. RSN at this point hates my guts because he didn't like reality. What Cruiser McHenry's trying to do is get through MFW and onto RSN's panel is a forum so he can get his negative attention fix. There's your answer. He didn't tell me this, but I know Cruiser enough to tell you this is exactly what's going on. He's trying to use her to get on RSN, and, you know, RSN had plenty of streams about me after I said poo-poo words he didn't like because he was not connected to reality when he wanted to bring Rich Life back, and everyone would have destroyed RSN at that point, because at that point, there was a hate mob for Rich Life of Road Trips that has hardly ever been seen on the internet. I mean, he's been terminated in double digits now.
Why have any emotion toward the fact that anything could happen at any time?
Hello, Al.
And you have to realize you have to live without anything at any time. I could live without my vehicle right now, and I would still probably manage.
Now I had forgot about it, but yeah, Henry did go after you, didn't he? Yes, see, at one time, because once again, he likes negative attention. He also likes 10,000 subscriber channels to do it on. And so, yes, at one time, he also was attacking Al just because he wanted the negative attention. Cruiser McHenry will attack women on the internet for no reason, other than the fact that he wants negative attention for attacking women on the internet. Now, the humorous part is, he really don't mean it. That's the funny part. But it makes him feel good doing it. Yes, he's not well.
Because I would explain to people the honest truth, and then they would tell me. Normally, they would help me. And that's how it is. For
Hello,
me,
Buttercup.
I'm just so genuine and transparent, and I ask for help when I need it, truly need it. And then people think I'm too demanding. Yes, maybe I am. Maybe it's because I am disabled. Like, I'm classified as a...
She's demanding. Well, I am too. And we have disability for the same thing. Complex PTSD. I'm no one else's responsibility. If I get a little bit of help, thank you, I'm grateful. I don't expect anyone to do everything for me, nor would I want that. Because every day, me, my animals, and my household are my job. Now, unfortunately, with what the government has done, they've made that right now impossible. But you see, Leticia is living a very good lifestyle doing what she does.
Disabled citizen, I have a lot of mental issues. I'm highly stressed constantly. That's why I smoke so much weed. And I shouldn't smoke so much weed. I shouldn't.
I've smoked an ounce this week because I've been having seizures so bad. Oh yeah, I mean, I've gone through an entire ounce in a week. I mean, I've been smoking it up. Now, yesterday when I got up, my head was clear. And I had noticed in my commentary, you notice if you go back through my content, you can tell with my speech. If my speech is not like it is right now, I'm having a problem and I'm hiding it from you. And my condition had been degenerating for some time. But yesterday, I woke up with my head clear. The day before that, I had 4 seizures. And today I woke up with my head clear. I can think again. You notice there's no pauses in my speech or no moment for me to think about things for a little bit. Leticia does have complex PTSD because her own schizophrenic fears would have created it even if, and no outside source caused it, in my personal opinion. And I do have to say that is pure opinion.
Have smoked so much weed, but had I had a place, had I been able to relax, I probably wouldn't have smoked at all during the pregnancy. I would have waited and just let him be. And then also too, like afterward, not smoked while I was breastfeeding him, just out of respect for him, because it's what I did for Tootsie. So, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. But then I guess everything happens for a reason, so this is a good experiment for everyone else too, to see how this kid turns out. And see how this kid is going to be all damaged psychologically because his father didn't want him and his mother stopped wanting him.
Now, we have a flag on the field. Now, Jason Wallace has hired an attorney. She told us this yesterday. What does the pussy need an attorney for? Well, it's simple. He is being responsible. I explained it as a baseball analogy. We have multiple possible fathers. Consider each of them an outfielder. He is preparing to catch the ball. He already put himself on a registry. He got a lawyer. That tells me if the DNA test comes up Jason Wallace, which I doubt, he is ready to catch the ball in the outfield because it was his ball. Now, the other outfielders, they're looking up in the stands. One of them sitting there. It's like, why the hell am I here anyway? And they're not going to catch the ball. So, that is my analogy. But yes, where yesterday she called Jason Wallace a pussy because why do you need a lawyer? Well, it's because he's being the responsible adult and he's the outfielder that's getting ready to catch the ball that you're about to knock off your bat. And I know that's a strange analogy, but we're going to go with it.
Months ago. Because she knew that they would never be kind to her. It hurts. It hurts very much. It hurts. That's what people say, there's nothing.
Now, you see, for the narcissistic psychopath, losing hurts. Once again, it's their person. She played the gamble. Once again, we had chapter 1 that we weren't here for, where she snared the first man. This is chapter 2. And this is why she hurts. It doesn't work. I mean, when villainous plans used to go awry, I had to quickly fix them. And at the moment where everything is going to shit, I mean, those are what we used to call tight asshole moments. Just saying.
Wrong with smoking weed. I just didn't want to violate him, like in any way. That's why I only went off, and she was like talking about being a whore. Bitch! I had so many goddamn...
Well, he's not got, quote, media, but once again, I always judge people by their actions. It's like my criminal compatriots half a lifetime ago. They all were lying to me. Just saying. That's why I can spot bullshit a mile away. Because everyone in my life was lying to me. My parents were lying to me. My family was lying to me. My friends were lying to me. My criminal compatriots were lying to me. And I had to figure out what everyone's angle was and then how to turn it against them. And that's what my borderline personality disorder eventually did. It has become this defensive monster that when I have this situation to where everyone is lying to me, it sorts everything out.
Offers of fucking dick during this fucking pregnancy, and that's insane. That's insane. Like, you don't even realize.
But Jason is lined up to catch the ball.
If I wanted to be
so
a
his
whore, I'd
actions
be a
tell
whore.
me what he's going to do.
Out of respect,
He's going to be responsible.
Okay,
but he's not going to say a damn thing until that DNA test.
No, none of it.
He would be stupid otherwise, and I'm sure his lawyer has told him so.
Fuck this. And that's what it's like. Starting fresh. Jiggly ass arm and shit. Look at that. 150 pounds and then gained 30 back. Fuck.
She gained more than 30, just saying.
So, anyway, and I was saying too, about like my future. So I was thinking about it because everybody's trying to convince me to trap myself into keeping this baby. I'm not going to trap myself into keeping some random dude's baby that didn't want shit to do with me.
Now, who's trying to trap her into keeping the baby? Now, you see, this is a projection. If she decides she can't part with the baby, it's your fault. You pressured her to keep the baby, you horrible, horrible Satanist. I was trying to think, it's like, oh yeah, what were we? Oh yeah, we were demons or Satanists. Or demonic Satanists, I don't know.
Fucking asshole. Fucking asshole. Oh my god, I didn't want shit to do with him. Like, and sometimes I think, no, opposites attract, that's funny as hell. That is funny as hell. Oops. But no, it's not funny. It's not funny at all. It makes me fucking pissed off. The whole fucking ordeal. I was not wanting to breed. I wasn't wanting to breed on my own.
Well, let me see. 8 men in between November and December. I mean, sounds pretty breedy to meaty, just saying.
Like, if I would have had a mate, then maybe. If I would have had a partner, then maybe. But no. No. I don't see that anything good is happening from this. I don't see anything aside from I've been able to barely fucking function. I see no positives. I've lost all my money. I had to spend a bunch of money on clothing because my fucking fat ass couldn't fit in anything. All of it. All of it. And then it's like, how are you supposed to be on that fucking higher frequency and be happy when all this shit's happening to you all at once? The world is going to shit. There's so many homeless people. There's people that are more impoverished than you just sitting around you. So then you just have to swallow it and be like, okay, I'm fine. At least I've got a fucking car compared to this person. At least I don't have to stand on the corner in the fucking hot-ass sun and have a sign saying, please help me and my baby. Like, at least I've got the little bit of comforts and the privileges that I managed to procure prior to becoming homeless and everything that managed to get me to where I am at the...
I did want to keep that up, but she said something that made me stop. Privileges. How do you get privileges? I mean, I'm at kind of a loss on that. Hello, Smelly. How do we get privileges? I mean, if someone can tell me, I would like to go out there and farm me some privileges right now. Just saying. I mean, what do I have to do? Is there like a form that I fill out? You know, do I go to like some little booth somewhere? Or is there like some little government agency with a tiny office in a little building that I go to get these privileges?
Point. And that's saying, you know, when I got out of fucking jail 3 years ago, I had lost everything. The home that I had acquired, for 10 years I had lived there. Yes, it went to shit a little bit with the mice and everything and the roaches because I couldn't handle it anymore. I was over 300 pounds at that point. I couldn't manage. There were so many psych meds, I just couldn't.
Well, for one, as long as you don't have food out, you're not going to have bugs unless you live in a giant apartment complex, which you did not. You lived in your own house. So that debunked her roaches. And once again, she was providing an environment that evidently was festering vermin. Now, like I live on the farm. You know, we get tons of mice here, and that's why farm cats are a necessity on a farm. If not, then you are overran with mice. So, you know, I will always need to keep at least 2 to 4 cats.
I had to, you know,
and
I had a
she
boyfriend
needed
at
a cat
that time
and not breeding
like,
dogs.
He was just there.
But as we know, breeding dogs was her grip.
What is the word? Where you want something just in the room, just like as an object in that way.
Hello, Phoenix.
I didn't, and I felt terrible because I wasn't using him. He was using me, and he was like living off of my stuff. So it wasn't like that. It was kind of symbiotic, but he was just kind of like another presence because I had already lost my child, and at that point, I just needed something around, something alive. But aside from my dogs, because they don't talk. So, I mean, animals do talk to you, but just in a different manner. Like they...
I was going to say, Abaddon won't shut the hell up. I mean, meow, meow. And he does that just because he wants undivided attention. As soon as you take the hand away, he goes row. And I tell him that, I mean, it's the only cat that I have to tell, shut the hell up. But his great-grandfather, he was a talker like that too. And he imitates a lot like what his great-grandfather would do. And I used to have to tell him to shut the hell up. Because he talked too much. You know, both of those cats are extremely vocal.
Don't speak human words to you. But in your... whatever. People know what I'm talking about. Not that fucking crazy. So, when I talk, people are like, oh my god. They usually listen. Because I'm not trying to persuade anybody into thinking anything crazy. Like, if I know I've sensed something or if something's going on, that's why I felt terrible because I knew when he didn't fucking message back. I told him on the 22nd of December. And then, like, I tried to message him a little bit more. Told him Merry Christmas and everything. That hurt.
So that would be 18 days after the dalliance.
It hurts to offer love to someone and offer compassion and offer fucking respect to someone and they just fucking ignore you. That is the worst goddamn pain, and it's just like, fuck it. That's when it's like when...
Remember, the narcissistic psychopath, they are the center of creation. So you see why that upsets her. You know, if someone didn't want to be my bud, whatever, I'll go on with my life. It's not even going to change my mood for the moment. You know, we're adults, we have our lines, we get to associate with who we want, and if I'm rejected, you're just not going to ever hear no boo-hoo from me, which really pissed my last girlfriend off, and the one before that, because, you know, like I told her at one point, is, how did she put that? I'm trying to, I don't want to say, I don't want to quote my ex-girlfriend wrong. But she talked about being there, and I'm like, we're broke up. Oh, yeah. Well, see, okay, I guess I'm going to have to say something I was trying to edit out. Well, after we, quote, first broke up, it was just a game to her. She did the play the go to the hospital thing. You know how the hysterical woman will do like the lolcow when she fucked up severely, run to the hospital to try to make it all better in the relationship? My ex-girlfriend did that. And I did nothing. I whatevered. And when she got out of the hospital, damn was she mad. And she said, I don't remember how she phrased it, but it was to the effect of being there for each other. And I said, you don't understand. We broke up. That means, that is the definition of we are not there for each other anymore. And then after that, she decided to destroy me, and whenever she could, she threatened my life, and she goes over to several YouTube channels over by Savage and all of them, and spews complete fanciful fabrications about me that get spewed about the internet, that I get to debunk here, but it just draws people and views and hate, and once, just like Cruiser McHenry, he likes negative attention, but you know, I used to be a drug dealer, and I don't care if I get negative attention. Because, you know, in the city, I used to get negative attention all the time. Of course, no one would say anything bad to me because I would have thrown them into traffic. Especially when I was on the Xanax. And I would have giggled while I did it. Because, like I said, while I was on Xanax, that shit made me psychotic. And that's why I have to smoke weed for my seizures. Because anything that has any chance of making me a murderous monster, we are not taking. Well, now Leticia's just spinning. Did she dirty delete on us? No, it says she's still alive.
Not that fucking crazy. So, when I talk, people are like, oh my god.
Okay. I had to skip a bit.
Fucking truth.
It was just going to spin. It was my device.
They can't handle, you know, any of that shit.
Well, thank you, didn't
absent during the entire pregnancy, and then.
Well, in reality, you know, my mission here, my video goal, informative, funny, or entertaining. And before I make a vid, if it can't hit one of those three, then it's the video I shouldn't make. And since I've been a creator now for a few years, I have decided that the test of character of a creator is the videos that you don't make. You know, the ones no one ever sees. You know, the ones where you tell yourself, no. You know, that to me personally is the test of character, although I'm the only one that gets to see the result of that.
We're talking about how, you know, he's first in line for the DNA test, whatever. I don't care. I don't care whose it is. I just want it away from me, just like everybody else. Just like everybody else. I just don't want it anymore. I don't want whatever fake-ass fucking shit people are trying to lure me, gaslight me into thinking that they matter, or that I matter, or that any of this matters. It's absurd. My whole life.
She's breathing
And
and
I just have to
staring.
say, you people piss me off. Like, that's it. What is the point? You people are so fucking sick and dumb.
Well, it is, oh hell. That's why, I don't just spew out Leticia videos. Unless it's something that I can make interesting and informative or funny, well, we just don't do it. There'll just be a Leticia gap. And right now I'm doing this because, I've not really been in the headspace to plan out a video. But I can do my personal reaction because this is the first time I'm hearing it. These lives with Leticia, these are basically raw reactions to Roger and Leticia. And I feel I can do those well now to an A+, when in reality, because of my condition, I believe for like the last two and a half months, I've only been putting C-grade work out. And I'm capable of much more. So, as of yesterday and today, my head is clear. And I'm capable of doing A+ work on YouTube again. Thank you, Dead Nut.
It's wasteful to shed my tears over trash and nonsense. People don't understand themselves. They don't understand what they do to others.
Now, once again, remember, as I said before, a hand up is nice, but I'm no one's responsibility. And once again, Leticia believes that she is the center of creation. You people aren't doing your jobs. And in her mind, that really means you were all created to serve Leticia, her whims, her will, her need. And remember, she tells God what to do.
They don't understand the repercussions of their actions. They don't realize that 10 years down the line, that's going to affect somebody in a certain way.
Welcome back, Katie.
Or 5 years, or a year, or 5 minutes, or how long that's going to last, So, anyway, he's been absent this whole time, but everybody wants to give him the baby. And I'm like, go for it. I don't care. I don't care.
I have already said that if Jason Wallace's genetics end up the father, that I will do all of my videos dressed as Verily Veronica for a month. If a DNA test comes back and it says Jason Wallace is the father, I would do all of my videos as Verily Veronica for a month.
Was with someone else. That's why he didn't respond around Christmas. And let him be happy with someone else.
I'm that confident. Put it that way.
All right? What he did with me, that was sick and a sin and lustful and terrible. And that's just how it goes. That's why I went back to my faith. And I thought to myself, that's what happened.
I don't know. That kind of sounds kind of fun. I mean, with the right girl. Oh, God, she was lustful and terrible. And she wore a really hot outfit. I mean, that could really be a wonderful story if it was real. I need to find one of these wonderfully terrible women in a cute outfit. For a non-permanent something or another, just saying.
With nuns and things like that. That's what happens with these women that, they do. They have these little bastard children.
Well, that's why she liked to hang in Arkansas. Because she could manipulate Arkansas law. Just like I used to game with a woman that was a psych nurse in the Big Nut House in New York. And in New York, if she was a resident of New York would have Leticia locked away. This is a state thing. And Leticia, remember, I hate these stupid Southerners. But Southerners are extremely merciful to women in court. And that's why Leticia likes to stay to the South. Because she could go to some other places and she could end up locked in the nut hut. Now, she's got probably a 50 to 75% chance that if she had anyone family-wise in Florida, that they could get her in a nut hut there. But this is state by state. So Leticia will stay to states to laws that she can manipulate.
They have to be secreted away. And then the children are removed, and that's how society wants it. Society doesn't want to see a bunch of unwed, children and the parents fighting over.
Well, she is schizophrenic. And people with schizophrenia can lead perfectly normal lives. But there is an extreme small part of them that cannot. And in my view, this is Leticia. Now, I guess this is personal information that is so vague that you will, but I can get one thing I've not told YouTube. The guy that provides my medicine and I have a deal with, his wife has schizophrenia. She's on medication. She's fine. She's just like hanging out with anyone else. But I can talk to her and she can tell me what it was like in her mind. That's why I said, I got that idea rolling over again and again in Cruiser McHenry's mind. And it was wrong of me. But you see, this is her real mental disorder. Remember, she said she was diagnosed as having delusions. Well, these come from her schizophrenia because she'll take something and roll it over and over in her mind until she makes it a reality. Even, just like waiting 5 days later, she rolled it over, perverted reality until that too was an assault. And other than that, I have a theory that the rest is fake. It's my theory. But once again, that is right now, I would say, an out on the limb theory. And whenever I'm out on the limb, I will say I am out on a limb.
Money and fighting over, child support. And if you didn't want the child, why'd you fuck? It's the same concept. Back in the day, you were like, shit happened to you. Like, they literally would behead you.
Well, to be honest, my parents sucked so bad, I felt I needed weed then. My mother died. Well, but actually, taking care of my mother, there was just a rare smoking of a joint. Now, after my mother died, I stopped smoking it completely. It was amazing. After the stress of my parents were gone and the trauma they put me through, I didn't even want it. When I was having seizures and someone down the road, a girl has seizures, and she said she controls hers mostly through using weed. And then the McCoys started getting me high, and we saw that my condition started to improve. And then I started smoking weed again. But I had completely gave it up for many years. But when my parents were alive, I felt I had to have it. And literally a week and a half after my mother's death, I sat there and said, I don't want this anymore. And I gave it up. And if it wasn't for the seizures, I would not smoke weed.
And crap like that. They would kill the woman for having had this child. And I don't understand. I just don't understand. I don't want to be a nun because they have to give up all their worldly possessions. And that seems harsh because I want to smoke some weed, man.
What worldly possessions, kids? I mean, she's in her car. She had to leave things behind. And remember, when she was in the hotel room and the car was at Mom's, she was all ready to give up all her worldly possessions. And the magical horse shit continues.
Like, that's a worldly possession, and that's something that and I feel like it's medicine.
Oh.
So, like, if it were medicine, can't you categorize it as that? Can't you?
Well, yeah, Katie, you need a catcher. That's what it comes down to. She doesn't understand. She can do this, but she needs a catcher. Unfortunately, she knows everything, and she tells God what to do. I mean, the ultimate in hubris.
You actually, like, offer this underneath our insurance because that's my proper medic.
Did you catch that? It is just a horse scam. It is. It's just a way of laundering whore money. That's all it is. And I laugh around here because the going rate is $25. I mean, the funny thing is in the 1980s, it was about $100. I mean, from the 1980s to now, in 40 years, pussy has lost 75% of its value. This is a sad reality. I mean, you would think that it would have done nothing but increase in value over time, but I mean, at this point now, it's become quite a cheap commodity. I mean, I think we might ought to just start selling it to other countries. Just saying.
And keeps me stabilized. And yes, I smoked right before doing this video, so that's why I'm not sitting here freaking out like everybody said. Oh, she freaks out, she blah blah blah, she throws things.
Well, it's a way that no one tells. It's like used to be. It's like the massage parlor in Richmond, Kentucky. When I moved down here, I knew that the Asian girls did the love me long time thing. I never did, but, knowing the criminal element, I knew that if you said the right things, you could get a love me long time if you just kept your mouth shut. And that evolved into things like cuddling, because once again, it's a touchy-feely leftist thing that they can validate prostitution for $80 a pop, and cuddle whore gets half, and the cuddle pimp gets half.
Well, maybe during fucking pharmaceutical time, yeah, like all those pills on pills. So, but yeah, hopefully those kids don't hear me. Like, that's terrible. I don't like to have in the middle of a discussion, be like, oh, I'm sorry, you didn't understand that. Like, there's some dirty, filthy things in the world, let me tell you. And it's everywhere. And just because we're in a little suburb or some really nice little town doesn't mean shit. Like, crazy is crazy, and it is everywhere. And then usually it's with the people that have money because they have nothing else better to do with their time. And I understand. When you struggle, it makes you work harder.
I was busy.
It makes you work harder to survive. So that's what the concept was of having to make money at such a low...
Just to let everyone know, while I'm watching YouTube, when I miss stuff in chat, I'm working out with this steel ball because when I meet Ernie, I want to be able to hit as hard as I possibly can. So I sit here and do this with this steel ball in one hand or the other all day, or I do this exercise because when I do hit Ernie in the teeth, I want it to be just as hard as humanly possible. So this is why I work out with this all day. Now, we will get back to your regularly scheduled Leticia.
Rate and everything like that, because you can't just offer money to people. People are like, oh, the world doesn't owe you anything. I'm sorry, what? Didn't my parents pay for me to be born here? Didn't my parents pay taxes for me growing up? Didn't my parents afford for me for at least 18 years? Like, does that not account for any of my...
Well, Sherry, I can't give you any of those information because she has skipped so many of her prenatal appointments that, it's not bordering on the irresponsible. It is way past irresponsible.
Privileges, any of my allotments, any of my, and I worked as well since I was 15. So what, are you going to negate that fact? Are you just going to denounce that I put efforts into trying to stabilize myself as an individual, as an independent woman that didn't go off and have sex with everybody, that wasn't a little whore? So, you don't tell me that shit. I really hate that people call me in between that because I have to keep thumbing it. And it's like, stop. Please just stop. No one cares about you. Why are you calling a million times? The one day it was like 100 and something while I was on...
Now you see, the no one cares you, that's about you, that's another narcissist clue. You notice there was something involved with her, not I don't care about you. It's no one cares about you. If someone's calling about me and I wanted to hang up on them, I might say, I don't care about you. Or maybe, who cares about you? Putting out there that, I don't know of anyone that would care about you. But not Leticia. She has to say, no one cares about you when it's a call to her.
Why are you calling treating me like this? What is wrong with you? There's nothing right about this. I don't want to feel these feelings. I don't want to feel this aggression and this anger. And it's like,
Well, that could be bipolar, and the fact you're an asshole and you failed your villainous plot. Now, Sage, I stopped this for one moment because I was thinking, and I have like an R-rated joke, but you remember what James' father did? I kind of think if he cuddled with Leticia, they wouldn't even get to that part until he would, himself. Like, ah! That kind of thing.
why? Why keep me from the things that I wanted to do? Why keep me from being able to progress? I had to have this child. It was placed inside of me, and
Well, everyone but Jimbo's dating pool is too old for James, just saying.
I had to be responsible because the father's absent, and we weren't in a relationship whatsoever. So it's not like I've got...
Well, actually, Blakes, later tonight, I am going to be on a different channel. I'm going to be on that channel, and I'm going to talk about fantasy stories and goblins and wizards and elves and bullshit like that. Yep. Matter of fact, later today, that channel will be ready for lives. I got it set, and you have to wait 24 hours. So I'm just at the 24-hour waiting period. So once again, I have channels where I do no drama content. And I won't talk about any drama bullshit there. Just saying. It's going to be all interesting stuff. Or attempting to. And that will be the first live on that channel. And it's been mothballed for a few years.
any assistance at all. I've been the only one affording for this kid. Sheltering it, feeding it.
When COVID started, I mothballed that channel. And Haley was supposed to be my camera girl for it. But, Haley and I don't talk no more because her boyfriend, now fiance, now husband, didn't want it. So she left me to die. And she lives about 20 minutes away.
All of it. I'm trying so hard not to be angry. Looks like here's another person living out of their vehicle. There's so many of us out here. So many of us. Just trying to make our way. And I tell people all the time, just make sure you clean up after yourself. And then that...
Location clue. Just saying. You can get weed there, and there's a lot of homeless. Remember how I said I had it down certain geographically? So, now those are two clues that can give you just as much knowledge as I have on her whereabouts.
Way you're not causing a ruckus, and people aren't trying to, disturb your peace. It's not like we're going around disturbing the peace. We weren't allotted much when we were growing up. We don't have anybody to fall back on. That's why we're doing that, a majority of us. And some of us, because we're forced into this situation,
Well, when my father stopped feeding me to break me from 6 to 13, my first goal was knock on old people's doors and ask me did I want to clean off their walks. Now, in winter, what I used to do, every day my ass out, if it was snow, my ass out there was with a snow shovel. I was making some money because I had to feed myself from 6 to 13. And it pissed my father off to no end because I did. And sometimes, in the fall, I stole people's tomatoes and I went and sold them to other old people. And sometimes I would steal food. But I always would try to do something for it, like sweep something or do a chore that a child could do. And many times the old people in the neighborhood, they would have things that would be capable of a child to do. Once again, I had to do this from 6 to 13. I could make a little bit every day to eat. But Leticia never got a work ethic anywhere in her. Now, it's like if I lived in a city a big city, I could find some sort of useful something to where I could to do for someone to where I could eat every day.
Very confused and scared all the time, and no wonder we do bad
Well, thank you,
habits or
Katie.
try to cope in negative ways sometimes, like me, overeating and splurging a little too much there.
The poor, overeating, splurging spendthrift. Poor baby. I get too much for Leticia. Boo-hoo.
Actually, like on my fancy water, because I
Her
could just get
fancy
bottled
water
from Walmart. I just don't like
This
that.
came from a spring.
This
Yes,
is a brand
this
they sell
water
at Walmart.
right here came
But-
from a spring out of the ground.
And I
And you
don't
can
mean to
see
be
where
like
it was
talking
sitting on
about
the
stuff like
ground.
that, corporations, but at least Walmart has that parking lot area to where homeless people can sit there and park. And it's not fair to us that all these people.
She's at a Colorado Walmart. You wanted her location? She just knocked that down. Remember how I said I had it down to a general area? Well, now we know it's a Walmart in one of those general areas. She makes a horrible sneak. Just saying.
Have all the money, and they don't know how to evenly distribute it to the point where we can all survive, and have a little bit of something before the end. But some of these people suffer and suffer and suffer, like this family I had seen over there at the cafe that I went to, and I really wanted to help them. They looked like they were some type of South American. Either it was, Hispanic, or they were like...
Her live ended. Mid-sentence. Yep, we caught up. Yes, she was cut off mid-sentence. I was expecting to see it go spinny, but no, she was cut off. Now, okay, it says she's live. Well, view channel. I don't see it live. Okay. It was just my phone being stupid. But yes, that was her live. And she got cut off in mid-sentence, so I'm not sure if she got knocked off because of lack of connection. Now, it doesn't look like that she hit the off button, but it is a possibility. Well, knowing Leticia, she did have kind of a shit grin on her face at the, looking at that end. There was a grin there. I think, just saying, I think someone was walking up to the car. And the hand was in a position to where she could have hit the off button. That's why I had to say, what I did. Now, in my personal extrapolations, I think someone was walking up to the car and she hit the off button. I think. Now, once again, that could be 100% wrong. But this is what I think. Because I'm running it through my head, going with what I see, remembering the position of her arm. She did have an arm like here, and if she had it on that side, she could have hit the off button. Well, oh hell, that's possible. I mean, I told everyone, be prepared for Leticia fans only. Not today, not tomorrow, but after she pops this sucker out and she wants... Now see, Leticia fans only will start when she has her own place. When Leticia has her own bed and her own door she can lock, we'll get a Leticia fans only. I'm never, ever, ever going to watch. Just saying. But, once again, all these lolcows that are hypersexual at some point get a fans only. So, that is my prediction for when Leticia gets her own place with her own bed. She will start a Leticia only. I mean, Shani did. And I mean, they put a clip of that on Twitter, and I wouldn't go on Twitter until after that damn thing was deleted. Just saying. Hello, Jude. Well, this will be posted. You know, I gave commentary throughout Leticia's live, and I'll be doing that now and again. And as soon as I get off here, I'll, well, this device, yeah, I better go ahead and get, in case she pops back on, I better, because this is what shit. That sucks. I fumbled the phone. I got 3 phones, folks. Being all rich laugh. Okay. Put that back there, so, you know, once again, if she decides to come back on live, and come on again, and that's what I'll do right now, is I'll recharge these devices. Now, I took care of the animals, and I was just really sitting down here for my morning smoke, and now I'm going to go out and wander the world and see if I can't find something to eat. You know, I'm going to get me a ladder and see if I can't get a pear at least to eat. Now, I'm going to get out of here because, you know, it's a pretty day and it's dry enough that I think I can set up the ladder where it won't fall. And I'm going to go see if I can get a pear. I'm going to take this and battle axe and see if I can knock a pear off. I mean, I'm having to live medieval here. Now, the funny thing is if someone was to video me on the top of a ladder with a battle axe trying to get a pear, it would probably make a funny YouTube video. But no one's here to witness my humiliation, so you'll just have to imagine it. Now, everyone, take care, and I'll see you later. And I will be live later tonight on the Thanatos Magus channel, and there will be no drama on it, and I will talk Fantasyland bullshit. Now, everyone, have a good day.